homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, this morning we're going to plant sweet corn and we're going to plant hickory cane corn. Now, the sweet corn that we're going to plant today is our main crop of sweet corn. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I planted something called Bilicious, which is a hybrid sweet corn by Burpee, I think. But today we're going to plant candy corn. Now, candy corn is one of the super sweets. It's my favorite of all the super sweet corns. You can't save seed from it, so you have to buy these seed, and they're about, I don't know, $25 a pound. Okay, the seed is crazy expensive, but it's worth it to me because I'm going to get a lot of corn out of this pound of seed. So let's get to doing this and show you how we're going to do it. Now, last year I did an experiment, and what I did was I came down like about right here and I put 2 rows of corn about a foot apart. Okay, and then I came over here 1, 2 steps, and right there I put 2 more rows of corn, and that left a big enough spot in here where I could use my tractor and keep it tilled over the course of the year, and it really cut down on using a hand tiller and that kind of thing. But I was concerned that the corn wouldn't make well. In other words, I thought that it wouldn't pollinate well and we would get skips in the kernels and that kind of stuff. Since I buy seed, I wasn't worried about contamination, pollination, and that kind of thing. So, because I buy the seed. So I didn't worry about any of that, and it did fantastic. So this year, I'm going to plant it the same way. It's going to cut down on my work. So I'm going to plant 2 rows here. I'm going to skip over and then plant 2 rows right there, about a foot apart. And then in between them, I'm going to put heirloom beans. So let's see how I'm going to do that. Now, we have 2 kinds of sweet corn. We have hickory cane, and we have, hickory cane is not a sweet corn, okay? Hickory cane is a field corn. It grows about 10 feet tall and great big old ears, foot-long ears, and the kernels are huge. Here's a hickory cane kernel. Let me put a couple of them in my hand so you can see. Okay, those are hickory cane kernels. Let me grab a couple of them. Here's some hickory cane and candy corn kernels both. See how big the hickory cane kernels are? And when I say, my grandfather called them hickory cane, he was just saying king with his Appalachian dialect. So they're about 2 or 3 times the size of this hybrid sweet corn. So this plate I have for my planter, this one's okay for sweet corn, but this big old hickory cane corn will not fit in these little grooves, so it won't never pick the corn up. You'll go down through there and you don't never put none in the ground. So what am I going to do? So for planting the hickory cane, I don't use this plate. Now, the wheel on my planter, every time it makes 1 revolution, that's 3 feet in length a row. So with this sweet corn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's putting out 5 kernels of corn every 3 feet. So 5 goes into 36 inches. Okay, 7 times, a little more than 7 times. So between 7 and 8 inches down the row is what it's dropping these corn kernels. Well, hickory king corn is so much bigger and needs to be planted farther apart that I use a lima bean plate. Remember those old Ford hook lima beans, great old big things? Okay, so I use a lima bean plate. There are only 3 things in a 3-foot span. So in other words, it's going to drop 1 kernel every foot. So that hickory king is going to be spaced out a lot farther than the sweet corn. So let's go ahead and do the sweet corn, but then when I do the sweet corn, I'm going to put heirloom beans in. Okay, I'm going to put heirloom beans. I'm going to make the 2 rows of corn, and in between the 2 rows of corn, I'm going to put pole beans, 1 row of pole beans in between the 2 rows of corn, so the beans can run up either side they want to of the sweet corn. I'm going to do that also with the hickory king because I need to get seed back from my heirloom seed before it goes bad. I've got white half runners. These are white half runners that we've had in the family for a long time. They're not like the white half runners seeds you buy that are made for marketing. These are a lot tenderer, so I was glad I didn't lose seed a couple of years ago. And then this is a regular old fall bean called red cranberry, and I'll plant it between another row of them. Then when I do the hickory king, I'm going to put these speckled greasies. Now I haven't saved speckled greasy seeds since 2017. So will these all come up? Nah, they won't. It's what, 6 years? But I tell you what, 40, 50%, 60% will come up. That's all I gotta have. I just need seed back. My freezers are full. I'm just getting my seed back. So let's get down in the field and plant some corn. And also, toward the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to fertilize, because remember we planted that Bodilicious or Biolicious corn and beans over in the hill garden. Well, I don't plant my corn, I don't fertilize my corn till it's up about this tall. Well, that Biolicious corn is up. It's been 3 weeks and it's up good, and it'll give us an opportunity to drop some pumpkin seeds in it and fertilize. So I'll show you that at the end, how to apply fertilizer to your corn. So let's get over here, get the corn plate in the earthway planter and drop some corn. Okay, there's half a pound of sweet corn in the planter, and I'm going to do 4 rows. I'll do 2 on camera so you can see how fast it goes, but if you can get one of these little planters, it's one of the best investments you could ever make. So let's get down through here and plant 2 rows a foot apart. That's how fast you put in 200 feet of sweet corn with this planter. Imagine if I had been going down through there dropping by hand and covering. Okay, here's what's left. Okay, you see that? That is about half of a half pound, so about a quarter of a pound of corn in 400 feet rows. So what am I going to do with the rest of this corn? Well, I won't save it to replant any of this, but I will save it for next year, and I'll buy a half pound again next year, $13 or $14, and then add this to it, and it'll be enough to plant my corn for the following year. Now, this hybrid sweet corn is only good for about 2 years as seed. Okay, it doesn't hold like other corn. My seed for my Hickory King is 5 years old, so it holds a lot longer. So now let's change plates and plant some Hickory King. I won't put that on video, you don't need to see it. It's the same process, except I've just got that different plate in it. So, okay, if you look down through there, there are 2 rows. One here and one here. They're a foot apart. Or is it? Let's see. It's right there and right there. Excuse me. They're a foot apart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off and put white half runners down this first row. And in the second row, I'm going to come up and put speckled greasies. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these greasies in my pocket so that when I get down to the end of the row, I can trade out. That way I'm not doing a row, carrying my thing back up here, filling it up, and carrying it back. Now, what am I putting in the Earthway planter? I'm going to put in a pea plate, and it drops a seed something around every 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches down through there. But you got to remember, there's corn on both sides, okay? So it can go up either stalk, so it doesn't put too much pressure on the corn about growing. So let's get down through there and put some beans in. 2 rows of heirloom pole beans in. I got one more row to do to put it. I'm going to put red cranberry beans in the Hickory King, but I won't show that on video. Okay, here's the part I promised you. We're going to put on fertilizer. Now, I save my fertilizer in 5-gallon buckets. It comes in a bag. This is 10-10-10. What I've got here is a 20-ounce soda bottle cut off. Okay, so right there, right up to about this mark, is 16 ounces. So this is 16 ounces in volume. The way fertilizer is made, volume equals mass, equals weight. So this is about a pound of fertilizer. Now for a 100-foot row of sweet corn, you need about 3 pounds of fertilizer. Now, to buy this fertilizer, I buy it in 50-pound bags. So my fertilizer costs me around 30 cents a pound. So I'm going to go down through here and plant and drop this. I need 3 of these down and 3 up, because there's 2 rows of corn right here. The corn is about 3 or 4 inches tall right now. And the beans are probably 3 or 4 inches tall too. So the corn's got to catch up, so I'll fertilize the corn. Where the corn is like this and the beans are in between, I'll drop the fertilizer between the beans and the corn. If you get any fertilizer down in your corn, brush it off. It'll burn it. So, but I don't usually get none in there. When the corn's little like this, it doesn't get hung in there. It just falls off. And I like to wait till the dew's off. Okay, so it don't stick. So also what I'm going to do, if you follow the channel, you can go back and look at our video, Failure's Inevitable. Apparently I had left my pumpkin seeds in the truck or something, and they've been sterilized. Now, I'm still going to plant those pumpkin seeds over in the one we planted today, the candy corn and the Hickory King. But just to make sure we have pumpkins for Halloween, I'm going to plant these Burpee Big Macs. I went down and bought just one package, because you don't need 3 or 4 packages. I bought one package. If this gives me 5 pumpkins, well, shoot, it says these things can be 70 to 100 pounds. I don't know if I want a pumpkin that big. That's a lot to put in the freezer. One pumpkin fills your freezer up for what you're going to use for the year. So I'm going to get down through here and plant. Now, where there's skips, inevitably there's skips. As your planter goes down through there, sometimes a corn kernel don't drop, and it leaves a place where there's no corn kernel. So you've got 16 inches of space and there's no corn come up. Or a kernel just didn't germinate. It was a bad kernel, or for whatever reason. And a kernel didn't germinate, so there's no corn right there. So any place that there's 1 or 2, 3 skips, I'll plant a pumpkin seeds, 2 or 3. Okay, let's get down through here and do that. Okay, I put down about 6 pounds of fertilizer, maybe a little more, but it's close to 6 pounds. Now, if you're worried about the amount of fertilizer to put down, on our Facebook page, you can go to the College Hill Farm Facebook page and go to the pictures. In the pictures, there's a thing that tells you how much how much fertilizer to use per 100-foot row. So if you've got a 30-foot row, you divide it by 3, and that tells you how much that you should put. Now, you can put it on your phone. That way, if you're ever to the point that you want to know, we also did a fertilizer video based on if you had 12-12-12 or 10-10-10 or whatever. You can go back and look at that fertilizer video. You could do that by going to the channel and subscribing. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be sure to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, time for me to get on to the next thing and plant these 4 pumpkin seeds that are left.